You join us here in France at the Circuit Paul Ricard for an exciting free practice, hopefully setting the mood for the rest of the weekend. A lot of focus is naturally on the drivers, but it's really important for the mechanics to get everything right as well, as one little mistake could cost the team and one of their drivers the race result.
These guys are so meticulous and they train and perfect everything that they do. Without question, they feel the pressure in the same way as the drivers, and they share the responsibility to ensure that the car makes it to the end of the race.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new video here today. We're back once again on F1 2019 for some more career mode. Been a little while since I've been here and done one of these, but we're here today for the French Grand Prix at Le Castellet Paul Ricard. Not gonna lie, coming into this, expectations weren't high. France, obviously a very OP track for the AI. I'm probably on the back foot even more so, obviously knowing that I am still learning the wheel. This race was actually recorded probably 2 weeks ago, so it has been a little while. I actually meant to get this out around about a week ago, but when I planned to do it, something else actually popped up, and yeah, unfortunately I just couldn't quite do it in the time frame that I had. And then to be honest, I just completely forgot about it, and yeah, I've jumped online today, realised I've got a few videos sitting here, so I thought I better make some. But anyway, first off, free practice. Don't read too much into the timesheets there. P20 in practice 1, P6 in practice 2. Now, one thing that I do have to let on about is the AI difficulty is actually back to 107 for this race, and that is simply because of how ridiculously OP the AI are around here. Like, to say that the AI are OP around France is an absolute understatement. Like, they're robots, to be honest. They're just absolutely mental. But anyway, I've done the difficulty down to 107, or dimmed it down, or I don't know, whatever the hell I'm supposed to say, I can't remember. But anyway, rain for the race, so that'll be interesting. But dry qualifying, so we've got that to worry about first. Just quickly as well, thank you to everybody that tuned into my live stream this morning for Transnation Esports around Hungary. Appreciate the support as always. I appreciate everybody coming in and watching along when those live streams are up. But yeah, I think that's everything I need to say from my end. So let's get into qualifying for the French Grand Prix and see if we can not qualify last.
Welcome to qualifying for this weekend's French Grand Prix. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green and the fight for pole position gets underway. The pressure on the drivers here is enormous. Some would say it's just as important as the race itself. How do you feel about that, Ant? And how did you deal with it yourself when you were out there on the track?
It's honestly really down to good old experience. The more you do something, the better you get at it, and that includes learning how to handle the pressure you're under. Getting a good qualifying is vitally important. If you can get away from the pack at the start and avoid all the first corner shenanigans, you'll have made your life so much easier.
We don't need to push too hard in this session. We should have the pace to qualify easily.
Alright, so here we are, qualifying for the French Grand Prix. Jeff seems to think that we can get through to Q2 pretty easily, so hopefully that turns out to be the case. But on our one and only flying lap right at the end of Q1, it's been a pretty decent lap. We're only about 2.5–3 tenths down, I think, on Charles Leclerc in the middle sector. So if you go off that logic, we should be somewhere around the top 5. But anyway, around the final few corners, this has been a pretty decent lap. One or two little mistakes in the final sector, but it hasn't been a bad final sector by any stretch of the imagination. Crossed the line, and it's only P15. And we cut to the end of the session. Perez P3 on the 27.5, and we have been knocked out in Q1 on a 128.8. We are 1.3 seconds slower than our teammate. Now keep in mind, this is with the difficulty change back down to 107, and we're nearly 1.5 seconds off. Now, granted, some of that could be me still learning the wheel, but there is not 1.5 seconds in just learning to be a little bit more aggressive here and there. Like, there's not 1.5 seconds in that lap, so the AI still need to be nerfed around certain tracks, and France is, in my opinion, still definitely the worst.
Bad luck in qualifying. That's not exactly ideal. But there's no points for Saturday. Keep a cool head and make up for it in the race.
Alright, I'll try to, Emma. P16, not really where we want to be, but it's going to be raining for the race, so hopefully we can make something happen. But from P16 on the grid, we got our work cut out tonight. But let's go see what we can do anyway.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. We have 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Lee. That was a great podium in the last race. So can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Giovinazzi, Norris, Raikkonen, Gasly and Devon Butler, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Lucas Faber and Kvyat, Stroll, Lee, George Russell and Roman Grosjean. Kubica and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
With your podium last race, the team were hoping for more of the same, but with yesterday's qualifying performance, it could be tough. Good luck.
Alright, thanks for that, Chief. We'll do what we can, but welcome, guys, to the French Grand Prix. Intermediate conditions for the start of this afternoon's race. It is supposed to dry out at the end, so I'm not too sure when that is exactly, because sometimes that that session forecast can be highly inaccurate. Sometimes it can say it'll dry up towards the midpoint of the race and it'll dry up with about 2 laps to go. Other times it'll say that it's going to dry up with 2 laps to go and you could be running on dry tyres at halfway. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm kind of hoping that if it does hit around maybe lap 14, 15, around halfway in the race, that we might be able to pull a bit of a strategy master stroke, so to speak, when hopefully the AI pit for inters again if the rain stays out long enough. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to try and stay out long, hopefully try and get the lead, and then hopefully maintain that until the rain stops, and then when we switch over to dry tyres we should be right back in the fight. Easier said than done though, and from P16 this is going to be a pretty tough ask, but I think we can do it, so let's get into it. Awaiting 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. And away we go. Held the lights for quite a while there. But anyway, up through the gears. Not a real great launch, to be honest. Just up through the gears. We just got bucket loads of wheel spin. We've been mugged off by the 2 Williams. Now we're going to try and get them back round the outside. Back up to P16. I tried to have a look at Lance Stroll, but he shut the door on us there. But we get good drive out of turn 1 and 2, and we get past Lance Stroll to P15. Now we're going to send it up the inside of Lucas Weber, our old teammate, at the start. of this career mode back when we were in the F2 cars, so we dispose of him nice and quickly. That's up to P14. Next up, the two Renaults, Ricciardo and Kvyat. So the Honey Badger and the Torpedo, that's an interesting lineup, but I don't even know where that phrase come from. That just randomly appeared in my mind, but there you go. Good run on the Renaults on the back straight. Are we going to try and make a move on Ricciardo? We've got Kvyat, but he comes back really outside, so close to making contact there. I'm not too sure if we actually did. We're going to try and stick it around the outside. Kvyat just leaves enough room, but unfortunately we couldn't quite get it done. But with the English, I couldn't get the word out there. But with the power of this Mercedes engine, we absolutely blew past. But again, just a slide in the middle of the corner has allowed Kvyat to re-pass this. And that is back up to P13 for the Renault, back down to P14 for us as we get a big lose of the back end, nearly completely throwing this race away before it's barely even gotten underway. Now, I just want to attract your attention to something else. Look at the mini-map. Look at Perez and the Ferraris already. Look how far, or how much of a lead they've gotten already in just one lap. So, I need to get a bit of a wriggle on here, and really quickly, because those guys are getting away. Coming on to the end of lap 2. Still sitting in P14, but we've got a good run on Kvyat out of the final corner. Rich fuel mixture overtake on the ARS, and we get the move done before we even get to turn 1. Nice move up to P13. Next up is our fellow Aussie Danny Rick, so hopefully we can get the move done on him and he doesn't make things too hard for us. Coming onto the back straight on lap 4, Ricciardo actually having a look at Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso, so quite interesting to see these still going at it. We're going to try and capitalise on it if we can. Up into Rich and hot lap, we're going to go 3 wide now, try the double overtake, and with the straight up engine power of this Mercedes power unit, it just means we're able to blow past the Renault and the Toro Rosso. Really nice move there. The engine power working wonders for us in the back of this Racing Point, and that is up to P11. Next up is Devon Butler in the McLaren, so hopefully we can dispose of him nice and quickly. On the back straight, Rich fuel mixture overtake. We should get this done up the inside. He doesn't try and defend that too hard. And actually, we've got a real good run on Giovinazzi. Are we going to try and make a move on the Silver Arrow as well? We're going to go round the outside now, turns to the inside, and I think we might get that done. We're still side by side, but I think we might get this done. I think we've got a better engine than the Mercedes, and we do. And just like that, another 2-car overtake in the span of a few corners, and now we're up to P9. Coming on to lap 11, next up, Kimi Räikkönen, the Iceman, in the Alfa Romeo. Round the outside on the back straight, job done, up to P8. Now, looking on the mini-map, you can see there is the fight for 4th and 5th. But look at the mini-map, the 2 Ferraris and Perez have just absolutely disappeared. It's like they're running in a different postcode to everybody else. But anyway, up the inside of Valtteri Bottas now, hangs it tough around the outside, so fair play to the Mercedes driver. He's still trying to hang it around the outside. We've got the inside line. I think we should get this done. He's still there, so we still can't take our normal line. Now we're going to have to hang it around the outside. I tried to squeeze him there a little bit. He still stuck his nose in there, so credit where it's due. But we finally get the move done. On to lap 12. Now we're trying to attack Lewis Hamilton for P6. Around the outside, easy as you like. Job done. And there we go, P16. We're now at the P6. And cutting on to the end of lap 15, or on the back straight on lap 15 I should say, all the AOA have actually pitted, and the track is actually really starting to dry out, and we actually find ourselves in the lead of the race. So what I'm thinking at this point is, okay, I'm going to try and keep going, because I want to try and go another 2, maybe 3 laps at max if the tyres can make it, and hopefully make it to the dry period, and that way I'm on level pegging with the Ferraris and Perez again. But this isn't going to be easy. We're on like 80% worn inters, where the AI are on brand new ones. Here comes Leclerc up the inside. Those brand new inters just allowed him to out-traction us, and he just goes right past us on the inside there. I tried to fight, but there was just nothing I could do. And at this point I was actually starting to get really worried because I didn't feel like it was actually drying up quick enough, and I felt like we were actually going to be in deep shit, to be brutally honest. But going on to the end of lap 17, the track has dried out enough, I feel, that it is time for dry tyres. And as you can see, well, maybe as you can't see, but as we come into the pits, I've actually got a flat tyre just as I made the call. So flat left rear, so we've come in at the perfect time, and we've got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Okay, so that has put a big dent in our race this afternoon, but anyway, we'll have to make the best of a bad situation. 10 laps to go, onto the medium tyres. I felt like I could have put softs on, but I just struggle with tyre temps on soft tyres around certain tracks, France being one of them. So I thought, no, let's just play it safe and throw the mediums on. But we re-emerge in P12, right in the middle of Lucas Weber and Daniel Ricciardo. Now, we're going to be a little bit slow here to start off with, obviously, because we need these tyres to come up the temp. And Ricciardo all over our rear wing. You can see the white proximity arrow there. He is right up our gearboxes. We get loose coming through the right-hander. This car is pretty unstable at the moment, not going to lie. But there we go, DRS enabled. So finally it is time for the AI to come and put dry tyres on. So we've actually timed this pretty well, I feel. Coming on to the end of lap 18, all of the AI in front of us peel in. Pierre Gasly actually sticks it out for another lap, because otherwise he would have had the double stack. So a couple of the AI in really awkward situations here. But look on the mini-map, we've jumped Perez, and we haven't quite gotten Sebastian Vettel, but crucially we are ahead of our teammate. Now keep in mind, Vettel's on the softs, so that tells me that he's actually going to pit again, which is going to be quite odd if he does. But on to lap 20, fastest lap of the race, 140.3. I don't read too much into that though, because the AI are on soft tyres. And speaking of the AI on soft tyres, here comes Max Verstappen, just shoots up our inside at the end of the back straight there on a set of new soft tyres. There wasn't much we could do there, to be honest. It probably would have been pointless trying to fight him. So as you can see, I just stick it down into standard and medium, because there's just no point in trying to fight that. But as you can see, cutting on to the end of lap 22, Verstappen is actually in the pits, and I think that's one of the Ferraris in as well. So the AI making some unusual strategy calls here. Vettel is in for another set of softs, so we now get promoted back onto the podium up to P2. Charles Leclerc still sticking it out on his soft tyres at the moment. Now I'm curious to see whether he is going to try the exact same thing, or will Leclerc try and go to the end as well. What that has done though, with all the AI stopping again, that has released Sergio Perez up into P3. So now we have a racing point 2-3, and from 16th on the grid. I certainly didn't think I'd be saying that. But now we're in a little bit of a dilemma. And cutting on to the end of lap 23, lap 24, Charles Leclerc is in the pits, and we take the lead of the French Grand Prix. Perez is in the pits as well. So the AI making some really dodgy strategy calls here. But anyway, we now lead the French Grand Prix with about 3.5 laps to go. Cutting on to lap 25, Charles Leclerc is right up our gearbox on the back straight. I thought about trying to defend, but in the end I decided no, there was no point, because remember, we've got that 5-second time penalty hanging over us. So trying to fight the Ferrari wouldn't have done us any favours. Probably would have put us back towards Vettel and everybody else further behind, and that just wouldn't have done us any favours, and probably would have cost us a podium as well. But coming on to lap 26, Pierre Gasly is out of the session with about a lap and 3/4 to go. So the Toro Rosso's driver, his French Grand Prix is done. Not the way he would have wanted to end his home Grand Prix. So let's go and find out what has happened to this Toro Rosso. Looks like he just slows on track, does he? Yes, he does. Excuse me. So doesn't look like there's any smoke. So maybe just an electronics failure, gearbox problem, something along those lines for Gasly. So that's unfortunate for him. He DNFs his home Grand Prix, something that no driver ever wants to happen. But for us, onto the final lap, we're going to cross the line provisionally for P2, but because of that 5-second penalty, unfortunately I wasn't able to hold the gap to Vettel. So Sebastian is going to jump me on the basis that we have a 5-second penalty. So it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2 here at Paul Ricard. Here comes Charles Leclerc across the line to win the French Grand Prix. So congrats to Ferrari and himself. But for us, it's going to be P3. I'm pretty pleased with that.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
Alright, so there we go guys, that has been today's video. The French Grand Prix here for career mode. It's going to be P3 for us from P16. Really should have been P2 if it wasn't for that bullshit 5-second penalty. Excuse the language, but that's really what it is. I don't even know, like, is that a glitch or something? Like, have any of you guys ever had any of that happen? I don't know, that's weird, but we still come away with a podium from 16th on the grid, no less. I certainly didn't think that that was possible, but we've only gone and made it happen. 13 spots gained. Pretty damn good race from us there. The rain stopped at the perfect time, and we were able to come away with a podium. Commiserations to Sergio Perez. Ends up down in P8. Definitely had the pace to win that race, I feel. But, oh well, everybody has a bad race here and there. Championship standings, Charles Leclerc with the victory now takes the lead of the drivers' standings over Sergio Perez. We remain in P3, 40 points behind, so we're going to try and need to bring that down soon if we can, because we can't let that gap get too big, otherwise our quest for the title in Season 2 is probably going to be pretty short-lived. Constructors, a bit of a similar story to be honest. Racing Point leads only by 1 point over Ferrari, so it really is a two-car domination for Season 2 really. Ferrari and Racing Point just walking away with everything at the moment, so yeah, it's going to be interesting for the rest of the season to see how this all pans out. But rivalry, we're still losing to Sergio Perez, not a real big surprise. Perez's AI is just really OP for some reason, but we're leading our rivalry against Max Verstappen, so that's something at least. But we get the team goal, 942 resource points, so now we've got over 1,000. So we might be able to do some upgrades for the next race. But first, I think we've got a contract negotiation to look at.
Commiserations on that result. It's been a tough weekend.
Okay then, Emma. Well, I don't really know how to feel about hearing that, to be honest. I mean, yes, it was a tough weekend to start off with, but we come through at the end and scored a podium. So I don't know what she's so upset about, but anyway, I think we're going to go not too aggressive again. I just want to make sure I've got a solid contract.
Our proposal has been accepted. The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
Alright, so there we go. Negotiation successful. So we have another contract set in stone for the next few race weekends anyway. Not going to lie, I am having a few thoughts about maybe changing teams mid-season. But I thought about it for a couple of days and then I thought, no, I'm going to stick with Racing Point. I want to win the title in this car. I don't know why, but yeah, anyway, that's what we're going to do. Upgrade-wise, we're going to go for a minor rear downforce upgrade. I think that's it. Now we've got a chassis upgrade for the brakes as well. So hopefully they go on the car for the next video. But thank you guys for watching. If you all enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for plenty more. And until the next one, I'll see you all next time.